There is something about certain men that women feel, but cannot explain. They are not the loudest in the room. They do not chase attention. They do not beg to be chosen. Yet when they walk away, women remember them. This video is not about tricks, tactics, or pretending to be cold. It is about a deeper truth most men never confront. Women are not drawn to what you show. They are drawn to what cannot be moved inside you. Mystery is not silence. It is self-possession. In the next few minutes, we will strip away modern dating myths and expose why women are instinctively pulled toward calm, disciplined, and independent men, the kind who do not explain themselves, do not fear loss, and do not disappear inside love. If you've ever wondered why some men are desired without trying, stay with me. Because this truth changes how you see attraction, forever. Welcome to the channel, Stoic Love Wisdom. This is where every story and lesson about love will help you find the answer. Today, we will explore a new perspective through the topic unveiling the truth why women are obsessed with mysterious men. These are real-life experiences and profound lessons that will change the way you perceive love. Follow me, because the most surprising and interesting things are still waiting for you ahead. Before starting, find a quiet place, put on your headphones and relax your mind. Let the sharing in this video help you feel more fully and enjoy every meaningful moment. Are you ready to embark on this journey? Let's begin. Part 1. The first truth: mystery is not an act, it is a byproduct of inner sovereignty. There is a lie that circulates quietly among men. It says, women like mysterious men, so you should act mysterious. Speak less. Reply slower. Withhold attention strategically. Pretend you don't care. That lie creates weak men playing dress-up. The truth is far less theatrical, and far more powerful. Women are not drawn to men who perform mystery. They are drawn to men who possess depth. And depth creates mystery the same way gravity creates orbit, effortlessly. I didn't learn this from books at first. I learned it by watching what didn't work. I've seen men memorize lines, manipulate silence, play hot and cold games, and still get ignored. I've also seen men who did none of that. Yet women leaned in when they spoke, watched them when they walked away, and remembered them long after they left the room. The difference was never tactics. It was inner sovereignty. 1. A mysterious man is not trying to be seen. Here is the first uncomfortable truth most men resist. A man who needs to be understood is never mysterious. A man who needs to be admired repels admiration. The Stoic man does not rush to explain himself. Not because he is playing hard to get, but because he has nothing to prove. He knows who he is. He is not seeking validation through reaction. Women sense this immediately. Not consciously. Biologically. A man who is calm in his own skin sends a silent signal. My value is not up for negotiation. That signal triggers curiosity. Because mystery is born where access is limited, not where information is hidden. You can know everything about a man, his job, his habits, his history, and still find him mysterious, if his inner world is self-contained. And you can know nothing about a man, yet feel bored, if he is emotionally transparent, needy, or reactive. 2. Emotional self-containment is irresistible. Let me say something dangerous, but true. Women are not attracted to emotional chaos in men. They are attracted to emotional mastery. A Stoic man feels deeply, but he does not leak. He does not dump his frustrations, insecurities, or unresolved wounds into her lap hoping she will understand him. He understands himself first. This creates mystery because she cannot predict his emotional reactions. She cannot manipulate his mood. She cannot control his center. And paradoxically, that makes her feel safer. Not bored. Not disconnected. Safer. Because at a primal level, a woman is always asking. If pressure comes, will this man collapse or remain solid? A man who reacts impulsively, who explains himself excessively, who defends every action, who needs reassurance, answers that question poorly. A man who is grounded, selective with words, and emotionally disciplined answers it without speaking. 3. Silence is not a strategy, it is a state. Many men misuse silence. They go quiet to punish. They go quiet to provoke anxiety. They go quiet hoping to be chased. That is not mystery. That is insecurity wearing a mask. A truly mysterious man does not withhold communication. He simply does not over-communicate. There is a difference. He speaks when there is meaning. He listens without rushing to fill the space. He allows pauses to exist without anxiety. Why does this matter? Because silence forces projection. When a man does not constantly narrate his thoughts, a woman begins to project meaning onto him. She wonders. What is he thinking? Why doesn't he react the way others do? What does he see that I don't? And now, she is emotionally investing. Mystery grows where imagination is invited. 4. The Stoic man is oriented toward his path, not her approval. This is the core. The most attractive thing about a mysterious man is not what he hides, but what he prioritizes. His life does not orbit around her reactions. He has direction. He has discipline. He has standards that existed before she arrived, and will remain after she leaves. This does something powerful. It removes desperation from the interaction. He enjoys her presence, but he does not need it to feel whole. He desires her, but he does not chase validation through her desire. Women feel this immediately. And here is the paradox most men never understand. When a man stops trying to be chosen, he becomes choosable. Because mystery is born from independence, not distance. 5. Why women can't explain their attraction to mysterious men. You've heard it before. A woman says, I don't know why, but there's just something about him. That something is not magic. It is not manipulation. It is not coincidence. It is the presence of a man who is rooted in himself. His calm unsettles. His restraint intrigues. His emotional economy commands respect. He does not chase connection, he allows it to form. And because he does not try to possess, he becomes unforgettable. Closing of Part 1. Mystery is not a costume you wear. It is a side effect of inner order. When a man is at peace with himself, the world cannot fully read him. When a man is disciplined in emotion, others cannot control him. When a man walks his own path, others begin to follow, quietly. In the next part, we will expose a deeper layer. Why emotional unpredictability repels women, but emotional restraint binds them. Not from fear, but from desire. Have you ever realized that, in love, moments of silence are sometimes more powerful than 1,000 words? Because in silence, we can hear our heartbeat more clearly and feel the presence of the other person more deeply. Here, I want to explore with you that strength, peace, and stability even when love goes through challenges. If you feel that these shares bring you something positive, please click like to support. And if you haven't clicked subscribe, do it now, so you don't miss any insight into love and maturity. I also hope to hear your story. What is the most valuable lesson that love has taught you? Please share in the comments section so we can learn and be inspired together. Come on, let's move on to the next part with a more prepared mind. Part 2. Emotional restraint, why control attracts more than intensity ever will. Most men misunderstand emotion. They think attraction is born from intensity, passion, vulnerability, dramatic confession, emotional fireworks. They are wrong. Intensity excites briefly. Control endures. Women are not magnetized by men who feel more. They are magnetized by men who feel deeply, and remain steady. This distinction changes everything. 1. Emotional unpredictability is not excitement. It is instability. Here is an uncomfortable truth. What many men call emotional depth is often just emotional leakage. They swing between highs and lows. They overshare early. They reveal wounds prematurely. They seek closeness through confession instead of presence. At first, this may feel intimate. But intimacy without stability creates anxiety. A woman may feel a rush, but she also feels unease. Because unpredictability in a man's emotions triggers a subconscious alarm. If his inner world is chaotic, what happens when life applies pressure? This is why emotional volatility, over time, repels. Not because women are cold. But because women are perceptive. They sense when a man is ruled by emotion rather than commanding it. 2. The Stoic man is predictable in values, unpredictable in emotion. Here is the paradox that confuses most men. Women crave emotional safety, but not emotional boredom. The Stoic man offers both safety and intrigue, because he is predictable in principles, consistent in behavior, unpredictable in emotional reactions. He does not explode when challenged. He does not collapse when tested. He does not seek reassurance when uncertain. This creates a unique dynamic. A woman knows where he stands. But she never fully knows how deeply. And depth without leakage is intoxicating. Because his calm is not emptiness. It is contained intensity. Like fire behind steel. 3. Why emotional restraint feels masculine at a primal level. Attraction is not logical. It is neurological. A restrained man activates something ancient in the female nervous system. Why? Because restraint signals capacity. If a man can regulate his emotions, she intuitively believes. He can handle conflict. He can withstand stress. He can lead when things become uncertain. This is not about dominance over her. It is about dominance over himself. And self-mastery is the most convincing form of power. A man who reacts emotionally to everything tells the world he is governed from the outside. A man who chooses his responses tells the world he governs himself. Women feel this difference without needing words. 4. Vulnerability without structure is weakness disguised as honesty. This is where modern advice often misleads men. You need to be vulnerable, they say. Open up, they say. Share your feelings. But vulnerability without timing, context, and self-respect becomes emotional burden. A Stoic man is not emotionally closed. He is selective. He reveals himself gradually. He does not bleed on people who did not earn the right to see him open. This creates mystery. Because what is revealed slowly is valued more deeply. And what is given freely is rarely respected. When a man reveals his inner world piece by piece, grounded, composed, unashamed, a woman leans in. When he reveals everything at once, seeking connection through exposure, she instinctively pulls back. Not because she lacks empathy. But because attraction requires polarity, not emotional equality. 5. Calm under pressure is the ultimate aphrodisiac. Let me be blunt. Nothing fascinates a woman more than watching a man remain calm when she is emotional. Others are reactive. Circumstances are uncertain. Not cold. Not detached. Calm. This calm communicates. I am not overwhelmed by chaos. And that calm becomes a psychological anchor. She may test it. She may challenge it. She may push against it. not to break him, but to confirm his solidity. A man who reacts defensively fails the test. A man who withdraws emotionally fails the test. A man who stays centered, passes. And passing that test deepens desire. 6. Why women feel more when a man feels less, on the surface. Here is the irony. The less emotionally reactive a man appears, the more emotional space a woman fills. Because emotion flows where resistance is minimal. If a man floods the interaction with his feelings, there is no room left. If he remains grounded, present, and reserved, her emotions rise to meet his stillness. She begins to feel more. And she associates that feeling with him. This is not manipulation. It is emotional physics. Closing of Part 2. Emotional restraint is not repression. It is discipline. The Stoic man does not fear emotion. He refuses to be ruled by it. He does not weaponize silence. He embodies presence. He does not seek intensity. He offers depth. And depth, when paired with calm, creates a gravity few can escape. In Part 3, we will enter a more dangerous territory. Why women are drawn to men they cannot fully possess, and how independence creates obsession without effort. Not games. Not tactics. Just truth. Part 3. The unpossessable man, why independence creates obsession without trying. There is a line every woman eventually crosses, silently. It is the moment she asks herself, can I have him, or is he never fully mine? That question is where desire either fades, or deepens into obsession. Most men unknowingly kill attraction by answering it too quickly. 1. Possession ends polarity. Here is the truth most men refuse to accept. The moment a man becomes fully possessed, desire begins to decay. Not because women are cruel. Not because they enjoy games. But because attraction requires polarity, and polarity cannot exist where there is total ownership. A man who orients his life around a woman, adapts his schedule to her emotions, and reshapes his identity for the relationship sends a dangerous signal. My center now exists outside myself. And once his center moves into her hands, tension disappears. Mystery collapses. Respect erodes. Desire softens into familiarity. A Stoic man understands this instinctively. He does not resist closeness. He resists self-abandonment. 2. Independence is not distance, it is non-negotiable selfhood. Many men misunderstand independence. They think it means emotional coldness, unavailability, or avoidance. That is weakness pretending to be strength. True independence is quieter. It is a man who remains internally sovereign, even while emotionally present. He loves without dissolving. He commits without surrendering his spine. He connects without outsourcing his identity. This creates an unspoken tension. She feels close. But not in control. She feels chosen. But not relied upon for his sense of worth. And that balance is intoxicating. Because the most powerful question in attraction is not, does he want me? It is, would he still be himself without me? 3. Why women desire what they cannot fully anchor. At a deep psychological level, desire feeds on uncertainty within safety. A Stoic man offers safety through consistency and character. But uncertainty through independence. She knows. He is emotionally stable. He is grounded. He is not volatile. But she does not know if he will ever bend himself to fit her expectations. That ambiguity creates mental engagement. She thinks about him when he is absent. She replays conversations. She wonders what part of him remains untouched. And the more she feels she cannot fully anchor him, the more valuable he becomes in her mind. Not because he withholds, but because he does not belong to anyone's narrative except his own. 4. The man who has a life she cannot replace. Here is a brutal truth. A woman will never obsess over a man whose life she can replace. If his happiness, excitement, and meaning come primarily from her, then she becomes the source, not the participant. And sources lose mystique. The Stoic man has a life that exists before her and will continue after her. He has purpose that does not negotiate. He has routines that do not bend for convenience. He has values that do not shift for approval. She is welcome into his world. But she is not the axis it spins on. This does not make him distant. It makes him solid. And solidity commands respect. 5. Emotional non-attachment is not emotional absence. Let's be precise. Non-attachment does not mean indifference. It means he can enjoy without clinging. He can love without fearing loss. He can walk away without resentment. This emotional freedom is deeply unsettling, in the most attractive way. Because it signals, I am here because I choose to be. Not because I need to be. Choice is erotic. Need is suffocating. A woman can feel the difference instantly. 6. Why women test independent men more, and fall deeper. Independent men are tested constantly. Not because women want to control them, but because women want to verify strength. She may challenge his boundaries, question his priorities, apply emotional pressure, withdraw to see if he chases. A man who collapses fails the test. A man who retaliates emotionally fails the test. A Stoic man remains centered. He does not explain himself excessively. He does not beg for understanding. He does not sacrifice his path for peace. And when she realizes she cannot move his core, trust deepens. Desire follows. Because a man who cannot be controlled externally feels safe internally. 7. The ultimate paradox, the man who can leave is the man she wants to stay. Here is the final truth of this part. The man most likely to be chosen is the man who does not fear being alone. Because fear of loss distorts behavior. And distorted behavior destroys attraction. A Stoic man is not reckless with relationships. But he is not hostage to them. He stays by choice. He leaves by principle. And that clarity creates something rare. Respect without resentment. Desire without anxiety. Connection without captivity. Closing of Part 3. Women are not drawn to men who withdraw. They are drawn to men who remain whole. They do not crave distance. They crave unshakable selfhood. The man who cannot be fully possessed becomes unforgettable. Not because he resists love, but because he never disappears inside it. In love, sometimes silence is the answer. It gives us time to listen to ourselves and understand the other person's heart better. That's also the reason I share stories on this channel, so that you have a pause, a peaceful space to reflect. If you find this meaningful, please click like and don't forget to subscribe, so that we can continue to accompany each other on the journey to find a peaceful and profound love. Now, let's continue the rest with me. Part 4. Directional unpredictability, why men with edges are more desired than men who always accommodate. There is a dangerous misunderstanding about being a good man. Many men believe attraction grows when they become agreeable, flexible, always available, endlessly understanding. They think consistency means predictability in everything. And slowly, quietly, they sand down their edges. What they don't realize is this. A man without edges feels safe. But he does not feel alive. 1. Predictability in direction is death to desire. Let's clarify something essential. Women do not lose attraction because a man is stable. They lose attraction because he becomes directionally static. He goes where she wants. He adapts his goals to maintain harmony. He chooses peace over purpose. At first, this feels comforting. But comfort without movement creates stagnation. A Stoic man is consistent in values, but unpredictable in direction. Not chaotic. Not impulsive. But internally driven. She never fully knows what challenge he will take on next, what standard he will enforce, what boundary he will hold firm. And that keeps her alert. Attraction feeds on forward motion. 2. Why edges create sexual polarity. Edges are not aggression. Edges are limits. A man with edges says no without guilt, disagrees without hostility, holds boundaries without explanation. This creates polarity. Because polarity requires contrast. If a man absorbs everything, adapts to everything, there is no tension left. A Stoic man allows friction. Not to dominate, but to remain defined. And definition is attractive. A man who stands for something inevitably stands against something else. That tension is felt, physically. 3. The masculine thrill of forward pressure. At a primal level, masculinity is associated with forward pressure. Not force. Pressure. Movement toward something difficult. A Stoic man is always oriented toward a horizon beyond the relationship. This does something subtle. She becomes a companion on his journey, not the destination. And that repositions desire. When a woman feels she is walking beside a man going somewhere, rather than being carried emotionally, she feels elevated, chosen, alive. 4. Why over-accommodation signals fear. Here is the uncomfortable truth. Men who over-accommodate are often driven by fear. Fear of conflict. Fear of loss. Fear of being misunderstood. Women sense this instantly. And fear is not neutral. Fear communicates. I will abandon myself to keep you. That is not love. That is negotiation. A Stoic man does not negotiate his core. He listens. He considers. He decides. And sometimes, he disappoints. Not out of cruelty, but out of integrity. And integrity commands desire. 5. Unpredictability in choice keeps the nervous system engaged. Let's go deeper. The female nervous system is exquisitely sensitive to pattern. When a man becomes completely predictable in his reactions and choices, her system relaxes, but disengages. When a man is grounded yet autonomous, her system remains engaged. Because she does not know which invitation he will accept, which demand he will refuse, which path he will choose when trade-offs arise. This unpredictability is not anxiety-inducing. It is stimulating. Because it exists inside a container of safety. 6. The man who chooses himself without apology. One of the most attractive moments a woman experiences is this. When a man calmly chooses himself. Without anger, without explanation, without drama. He does not justify. He does not over-communicate. He simply acts in alignment. That moment signals. This man is led from within. And inner leadership is magnetic. Because it means he will not resent her later. He will not betray himself quietly. He will not erode over time. A man with edges stays intact. And intact men are rare. 7. Why desire lives where resistance exists. Desire requires resistance. Not opposition. Resistance. The Stoic man does not dissolve obstacles for comfort. He meets tension with composure. He allows her emotions, but does not absorb them. He welcomes closeness, but does not collapse into it. This creates a living dynamic. Not static peace. Not constant harmony. But a live balance. Closing of Part 4. Women do not want men who are endlessly accommodating. They want men who are self-directed. Men with edges. Men with movement. Men with inner pressure towards something meaningful. Stability holds attraction. Direction fuels it. Part 5. Calm, dangerous, and grounded, why quiet strength creates lasting desire. At some point, attraction reaches a crossroads. Infatuation either fades, or it transforms into something deeper, darker, and enduring. This is where most men fail. Because they confuse being harmless with being good. Women do not desire harmless men. They desire men who could be dangerous, but choose restraint. 1. The difference between a safe man and a grounded man. A safe man avoids conflict. A grounded man can handle it. A safe man seeks approval. A grounded man seeks alignment. A safe man is gentle because he has no edge. A grounded man is gentle because he has control. This distinction is everything. Women are not attracted to men who lack the capacity to cause impact. They are attracted to men who possess power and govern it consciously. That is what creates trust. Not weakness. Not passivity. Choice. 2. Why calmness signals hidden strength. Calmness is often misunderstood. People think calm men are detached, indifferent, or emotionally distant. But true calm is not emptiness. It is contained force. A calm man does not rush to assert himself. Because he knows he can. He does not react defensively. Because his identity is not fragile. He does not escalate. Because he understands consequence. This calmness triggers a deep response in women. This man is not afraid of himself. And a man who is not afraid of himself feels safe to be close to. And dangerous to lose. 3. The quiet danger women sense, but rarely name. Let's say this plainly. Women are drawn to men who could walk away. Not because they want abandonment. But because they respect freedom. A Stoic man is dangerous in one sense. He will not tolerate disrespect. He will not beg for love. He will not stay where integrity is compromised. He does not threaten. He does not warn. He simply leaves when lines are crossed. That possibility is always present. And that presence sharpens connection. Because love without consequence feels weightless. 4. Moral grounding is the anchor of desire. Danger alone is not attractive. Chaos repels. What completes the picture is moral grounding. A Stoic man has a code. He knows what he stands for. What he will not do. What he will walk away from, even at a cost. This creates something rare. Predictability in character. Unpredictability in outcome. She knows he is fair. But she does not know what he will choose if values are violated. That uncertainty is not fear-based. It is respect-based. And respect is the soil where lasting desire grows. 5. Why women trust men who do not need to be trusted. Here is the paradox that defines Stoic love. The man who demands trust is rarely trusted. The man who does not need it, earns it. A Stoic man does not insist on loyalty. He inspires it. He does not interrogate behavior. He observes patterns. He does not control. He chooses. This makes him uncontrollable, and therefore compelling. Because women do not want to be managed. They want to be met. 6. Presence without possession. The final layer of attraction is this. The Stoic man is fully present, without trying to own. He listens without absorbing. He connects without clinging. He loves without dissolving. This creates a rare emotional environment. No pressure to perform. No fear of emotional entrapment. No loss of self. And paradoxically, this freedom intensifies attachment. Because what is freely chosen feels more valuable than what is secured by force. 7. The man who remains after desire fades. Here is the truth few talk about. Desire always fluctuates. Beauty fades. Novelty fades. Intensity fades. What remains is who the man is when nothing is being performed. The Stoic man remains calm, grounded, directed, self-respecting. And that consistency becomes seductive in a deeper way. Not exciting. Enduring. Final closing, the truth about mystery. Mystery was never about hiding information. It was about being whole enough not to explain yourself. Women are not mesmerized by men who confuse them. They are mesmerized by men who are centered, calm, and unmovable. Men who do not chase desire. Do not fear loss. Do not collapse into love. Men who remain men, even when deeply connected. That is Stoic love. Not cold. Not distant. But rooted. And rooted men are unforgettable. Conclusion. In the end, the truth is simpler, and harder, than most men want to believe. Women are not drawn to mystery itself. They are drawn to the man who no longer needs to be explained. A man becomes mysterious not by hiding, manipulating, or performing distance, but by being deeply anchored in who he is. The Stoic man does not chase attraction. He builds a life, a code, and an inner order so solid that attraction forms naturally around him. He feels, but does not leak. He loves, but does not dissolve. He commits, but does not abandon himself. And because he does not seek to be possessed, he becomes unforgettable. What women sense, often without words, is this. This man is calm, but not weak. Present, but not dependent. Dangerous, but morally grounded. He could walk away. And that is precisely why his presence carries weight. Mystery is not created by silence alone. It is created by self-mastery. By emotional restraint instead of emotional chaos. By direction instead of accommodation. By independence instead of need. A man who governs himself does not need to control anyone else. And that is the deepest source of attraction. So the goal is not to make women wonder what you are thinking. The goal is to become the kind of man whose center cannot be moved. Whose values cannot be negotiated. And whose presence feels both safe and rare. When a man reaches that place, women do not ask why they are drawn to him. They simply feel it. And that feeling stays. Thank you for watching today's video. I'm so happy to share my lessons about love and relationships with you. I hope you learned something new and can apply it to your life. If you find the video useful, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next videos. Thank you for always accompanying and supporting me. Wish you a good day and don't forget to love yourself a lot.